So this is going to be my thoughts and processes of what was going on in this game. It's a 2-2 neutral. You can see the team Starson and West against myself and Area. Um, I don't know. It's probably. I mean, Darson's probably the best player in the room. But I think West is not very familiar with playing 2v2s. So this ends up being a pretty easy victory for the Axis team. But nonetheless, I want to take a moment to look through the game in my point of view and try and understand the decision making and thought process that happened and what the mistakes I made were while playing this game to hopefully understand what's happening on the field, what I do when I play, what I try to think, and where I can improve clearly. Now it's R plus, and generally speaking, in my thought process, there are two ways you can play R plus. Either you play the information game or you play the aggression game, right? Now before this game started, I basically already knew Wes is going to be playing Airborne and Darthan is going to be playing Commandos. And I haven't gone for the information game, but I don't really need to because I know who I'm up against. So I go release in the Hotchkisses forward and they find a T-17, which means I know I'm up against Wes. So I decide I'm going to play this aggressively and try and push him off the field right now because I think my composition is probably going to be able to beat whatever he brings on, which is 3 Fallschirmjägers Shreks and 2 non-up and Hotchkisses with mobile repairs. And I already see there's a T-17, there's an M20, and I think and then I see a rifleman squad of bazookas. So I'm already accounting for 18 pop on field. So my concern at this point is actually there might be an ATG. So because 2 riflemen, a rifleman bazooka squad is not enough to stop 2 Hotchkisses, but I'm kind of trying to bait out to see if there's an ATG around to take a shot. So you can see here I'm not pushing too hard into that group of units I saw there with the M20 and the bazookas. I kind of make a kind of half circle here. The thing is, at this point, I haven't seen an ATG shot come in. So I decide, okay, there's probably not an ATG. There's probably something else that lasts 7 pops. So I'm going to try and push hard right now. So I want to go take out the T-17. So that's what I go and do, take out the T-17. However, as you'll soon see, this turns out to be a mistake, actually. And it's actually a mistake due to greed on my part. The T-17 right now, it's already super low health. It can't engage my infantry, and 3 Shreks will probably take care of it anyways. I should have gone for the actual threatening units, which is the M20 that can scout me out and probably, suppress my infantry, and the bazooka rifleman squad. And I should have gone for that. So going up that T-17 is actually greedy because it just frees up 9 pop for West to call in a hard contact to me. So that's something to keep in mind. If a unit is not a threat to you, don't try and hunt that kill down just to get a nice stat or a nice bet, right? As you can see right here, an M10 comes on right away with the spawn buff and is going to absolutely annihilate me right here. So that's a lesson I should learn right there. It's a lesson I need to know. That's a mistake I made there. I got greedy. I went for the kill instead of going for the actual threat, which was the bazooka rifle, which I could have taken out with 2 Hotchkisses and 3. And it turns out we see the next 5 pop. It's bazooka, another squad of bazooka rifles. So what can you do? Now here's a second mistake I make right here, and you'll see it pretty soon. I've used the Fallschirmjägers to chase the M10 away, but I see the M10 coming back, and you can see right here I decided to put the repairing Hotchkiss trying to get it down the road. That's a mistake. I should have had that Hotchkiss keep going back towards my Panzer Shreks, and that way 3 Shreks would probably have been enough to finish off this M10 because I'd already hit around the Shrek earlier. So that's already 2 mistakes I've made in this R plus engagement, right? First mistake, getting kill hungry, getting greedy, going for that T-17, being a pop for West. And number 2, not sending my repairing Hotchkiss towards my Panzer Shreks, instead of sending it away from my Panzer Shreks, leading to it getting killed by the M10. So 2 major mistakes I make right there. Regardless though, because of that kind of early aggression, and pushing that T-17 off, at least I pushed West towards spawn pretty reasonably. So it's a wash. In terms of actual kill potential, it's a wash. In terms of field control, I think we pulled out ahead, but definitely 2 major mistakes I made in the R plus engagement. So that's something to keep in mind. Those are the 2 lessons I've learned right here, and these are 2 mistakes I made, and hopefully I'll try and avoid making that mistake in the future. Can't say I always will, but that's why you watch your own replays. This is why you watch your own gameplay. You learn these lessons and you see what you need to learn. So calling on medkits here, trying to make sure any major engagement I run into, because that's the risk when you play R plus. There's always a risk, especially against an airborne and commando player, that as the first player you're gonna get rushed and taken out. I make that mark there. That's a glider. So Darthan's already landed pretty close, and I think his initial plan is to try and take me out. But I think I pulled back enough to make sure that doesn't happen. And you can see he's set God for this in his hand. And that's one thing. That's another thing. Because I messed up my engagement, it does mean in the end we end up ceding central control to the allied team. So again, those 2 mistakes that I made in the R plus engagement is really coming back to hurt our team right now. because now the allies have central control, and we're going to have to really work around it because an MG in a church is not a small deal. It takes a while to take out an MG in the church. So we're probably going to try and play around the flanks right now. And so I call him another Hotchkiss, I think, to take part in that. Just trying to play either a Hotchkiss or a Tank Buster squad. I'm not sure actually what I call him. It might have been a Tank Buster squad. The only reason I'd imagine I took a Tank Buster squad on is because I thought that Darson may be trying to get a Hotchkiss rush to try and take out the Hotchkiss that I have, Hotchkiss rush. I thought that Darson would be trying to do a Tet rush or a Cromwell rush to try and take out my Hotchkiss. That's where it's trying to get at. Oh my god. But so I guess I just decided to call an extra Shrek just to be careful here. And I call in the Kettenkrad just to see what's happening right now. Now, one thing you'll notice is that I'm not really heading towards Area, and I don't think Area is heading towards me. And it's pretty simple. If you look at the mini-map, you can see that Area is in a one-on-one, right? He's not getting teamed. He's not getting 2v1 right now. So I decide, I don't need to go in yet. But now that I see those airborne carbines going into the center, I decide to start moving towards the center to at least try and keep west away from Area. So that's one thing you should keep in mind. A lot of players have a habit of trying to group up together in 2v2s when they really don't need to, right? You see, if you group up too soon or when the group up isn't needed, you end up ceding even more field control, which is not something we can afford right now as Axis, right? We've already ceded central field control. We can't really afford to cede these flanks. So because I didn't go and join Area right away because I trusted him to hold off in a 1v1 against Darson, I'm able to basically push off this M20, which is important scouting for this unit. And I might carry Shrek off in this M10 if he gets greedy. Doesn't look like he is. But also these M2 Carbines are going to be facing off against this Hotchkiss. And again, so far, you can see on the mini-map, I keep watching the mini-map while I'm doing this. And I see, okay, Ares getting pushed back. But he's not in a 2v1. He won't get overrun. He shouldn't get overrun at least, right? And then I'm trusting Area that if he's in a 1v1 engagement, Area will know whether or not he will be able to take the engagement or whether he can't. And if he can't, I trust him to be smart enough to run away rather than try and fight a dumb fight. At this point, though, I see, okay, I've harassed West a little bit, so I'm moving over and like, okay, we've ceded some ground. So clearly Area realizes he can't take on whatever Darson's brought here. But he's been smart enough to keep it back. So now I just bring the Hotchkiss over to try and help him out, maybe push these commanders back a little bit. You can see me kiting here. That's because the danger here is not the Piats. I don't mind the Piats. The danger here is the Boys AT to my Hotchkiss. So I try and stay outside that 35 range that they have. So I'm kiting here, I'm taking shots as they take, right? In the end, doing a little bit of damage but taking no damage in return is better than doing a lot of damage but taking a lot of damage in return. That's what I'm doing here. I take no damage in return, and I do a couple of snipes, maybe kill one model, put a couple models at low health, instead of just charging in and trying to kill a squad. I probably could have killed off a squad if I charged in right there, but I would take a lot of damage in return, which is not something you really want to do if you can avoid it. So we managed to push Darson back a little bit, and I'm trying to assess here whether or not this is something I can go chase, and I think it is. I don't see anything right now that would beat off 3 Falchion Makers, right? There's a Boys AT, there's a Piat squad, there's a Commando Officer, right? I think I can beat that with the composition, especially with the support of the Hotchkiss. So I move forward, not too much scouting, but I move forward and try and engage that. And suddenly I see, oh no, there's Stan Manos. Again, this is an engagement I probably can win if I stay here. It's a winnable engagement, but I don't want to risk taking the extra damage. I already have missed micro there and turning my Hotchkiss instead of trying to reverse my Hotchkiss. And again, it's a good thing I didn't take that engagement with Commando stance because I was about to get flanked by these M2 Carbines. So again, this is another lesson I think that's important. It's not like a mistake here. It's a point of good play I've made here. I didn't take a foolish engagement. I could have won that engagement probably against the stance, but I would have taken a lot of damage return and because if I had, those Carbine Airborne would have come in behind them and probably finished off my Falchion Maker, which is not a loss one to take. So instead, I took minimal damage, only did minimal return damage, but that return damage is still major, right? That Airborne is going to have to go heal, that Commando Officer is going to have to go heal, and we're still pretty full health here without making that risky engagement, right? I always promote aggression, right? Aggression in 2v2 is always really, really smart, right? But this aggression itself has to be smart. You can't just be aggressive for the sake of being aggressive unless your company's built like that. If you're playing Blitzkrieg, for example, go ahead, be aggressive, balls to the wall, because you're going to win on capping, because your infantry is too expensive to win on an attrition game. But Falchion Makers are kind of like at midpoint. You should try and get a bit of KDR before you start pushing, right? You need to try and probe the lines. An important thing here, though, is because we made that push and we kind of forced him to heal his commandos and we forced them to heal their airborne. It means they brought their MG over to make sure they don't get rushed while they're healing, which means they ceded central control. And because we didn't make an overambitious push against airborne carbines and stand commandos, we have enough manpower and sustainability right now to take over the center. So we've managed to succeed in taking over the center. And because we took the center here with these Fallschirmjägers, this M10 is going to die, and a major obstacle to us using this Hotchkiss is now gone. So we send the M20 back. But again, I don't suspect there's much here. Like, I can see this engagement, and this is an engagement I want to push right away. I think 3 Shreks and an M20 is something going to be really, really easy. That's no problem. So I'm trying to push this as hard as I can and wipe out a rifleman squad, probably right into this M20 if I can. And the M20 does go down, and I'm going to push these riflemen. I'm going to send the tank buster time to cap, because tank busters don't have as much anti-infantry firepower as the Fallschirmjäger Shreks will have. I am blobbing a bit here, but sometimes blobbing is okay if you don't think there's an MG nearby or anything. And I still have the sprint active if I really get into danger. And again, you can see here, Darson's making a push against area, but I'm not that quick to help him, because again, it's still a 1v1. You can see in the mini-map, there's only one color engaging area. So again, it's a 1v1, and because it's a 1v1, I trust area to be smart enough to not just fold. I'm trusting area. You have to trust your teammates, right? If it's a 1v1, you just have to trust them sometimes, especially in the 2v2. I do come, but you can see the rival was kind of late. I wanted a good position rather than going right at Darson here. And the main concern right now is the MG and the Boys AT. The Boys AT are concerned for this Hotchkiss, and the MG is a concern for the Fallschirmjäger blob, because I am blobbing and they have soul Germans, so they get suppressed more easily. And again, we push them off, and we're not going to chase here, or at least I'm not going to chase here, because again, I don't see the reason to. I want to keep field control and keep making these fights as long as possible and keep this early KDR as high as possible. And so again, middle engagement here, and we're against carbines. Carbines are a good weapon, especially at mid-range, which is what the fight is happening at right now. They're excellent. They're one of the best mid-range weapons in the game. But against 9 Grenadier Rifle, it's nothing. Now we see a GMC come on field. That's a big issue, because the GMC can kite Shreks for days, and we just saw our squad take a shot at this Hotchkiss. So we need some way to really attrition down these RRs, and we need a way to really hopefully bait out this GMC, because they can absolutely ruin Fallschirmjägers, because Fallschirmjägers only have 60 to 65 HP in the soldier armor, so they don't really have any bonuses against Sherman guns, so they can get whittled down really easy. You see 2 shots from that GMC, and they've already lost 3 Fallschirmjäger models, 4 Fallschirmjäger models, and 1 tank buster model, just from 3 shots from the GMC, so it can do a lot of damage to us. And this RR we see here, so I'm probably going to try and bring something on to try and deal with RRs. Probably you want something mobile or something with phase armor, that or some kind of hardcore assault infantry to try and push these RRs off. But the hardcore assault infantry is not really a great plan while that GMC is around, because they can just whittle down the infantry with that 45, 47 range as to try and close in on your RRs. So I decide, okay, I'm going to bring on a second Hotchkiss, because Hotchkisses, well, they're not as great as, say, armored cars or Pumas or the new Geschütz do against airborne. They still can take a few shots, they still can phase a few shots, and they have reasonable anti-infantry firepower, and still enough firepower to try and take out that GMC. So right now, I don't know what Area's up to right now. Area's got his own goals. And here's the thing, in a 2v2, both players don't need to be trying to do the same objective, right? If one player needs an ATG dead and another player needs a GMC dead, both players don't need to decide that the player that needs the GMC dead doesn't have to forego their needs to help the teammate always. You have to trust your teammates. If your teammate needs an ATG dead, they'll bring things on to kill an ATG, right? You only if it's like really desperate or the team is low on pop that you say, okay, he or she absolutely cannot handle this ATG. I have to go and handle them for them. You expect your teammates to be fairly self-reliant. So again, I see Area here. He's fairly self-reliant, and I'm focusing on, okay, I'm trying to find a way to bait out. I need to bait out this GMC so my Fallschirmjägers can start doing things again. And that's what I'm focused on. Area's probably focused on capping out something up, but again, and I think Area's doing the same thing here, right? Area's trusting me to not fold absolutely, and I'm trusting Area not to fold absolutely. And we're trying to, and we're close enough that if something goes wrong, we can support each other. But we're not just staying in one spot. We're not just grouping together and fighting together, because that, in the end, just cedes field control for no reason. And here I see Area's actually managed to get a few shots with Austin onto the GMC, so I see a chance. Okay, maybe I can find a way to find a push onto this GMC to finish off. Yeah, and I see right away he's damaged engine and pushing the Hotchkiss right in the center, taking advantage of Area's push and coming in. And there you go, the GMC's finished off. I take a shot from the Firefly, and that's another something, because I made that push in the middle. Now Area knows there's a Firefly, so he can start pushing his Austin back. And see how we work together despite not being in the same spot in the field. And I think that's the optimal way teammates should function in 2v2. You don't have to be together at all times, but you should be ready to support each other when you see opportunities to do so, right? So, because when you all attack as a group, you're just susceptible to running into a counter, right? If I send the Hotchkisses with the Ostwind, the Austin probably takes a Firefly shot here and is forced to repair off. But because they didn't, because the Hotch guy took it from coming from a different direction, it works out. See his boy is AT, possibly coming towards this church, so I decided to pull back. And so we're doing pretty well. We still don't have good field control. We're below 50%. But we are right now winning the attrition game as far as I can tell. And I've got this half track full of Fallschirmjägers with FG42s to probably start helping with the capping game. Because an FG 42 Fallschirmjäger in an IHT backed up by a couple of Hotchkai is actually a really, really strong back capping unit. Because that IHT with Fallschirmjägers can kill off almost any infantry. And usually when you're stopping backcappers, allies send LVs, and 2 Hotchkai can kill basically any LV you throw at them. Unless it's grouping them. But usually you don't see groups of LVs coming out from most allied players. Most allied players are focused on infantry, and Area here has decided to take central control. So again, central control is available to be taken, and because we're not grouped up together, we're able to take central control while still preparing this push on the flank here. A bit of a miss micro here. I could have had all 3 Shreks shooting at that Bren carry, and I didn't. And I decided to rush in with the Hotchkai to try and make sure that MG goes down, uses command of smoke. And again, I'm really late in this Brent carrier dying, so it's going to lead to me getting suppressed here and probably losing a couple of squads. And still, my priority here is still to kill that HMG, and Area's priority here is to kill this handheld AT. And we have different priorities, and we're not, but the main important thing is we're letting each other do what we want to do, right? Area wants to kill the AT, I want to kill the MG. We both achieve our objectives without having to rely on the other teammate to do the objective for us. It's really important that you don't ask your teammate to do what you need, right? You let your teammate do what they need, and I like that here, and I do appreciate that from Area, that he's making these pushes with independence, right? He's not relying on his team to do a lot of work for him, and I'm not relying on Area to do too much work. I'm just the bare minimum we're asking for here. Be smart, don't get overrun, and so I lose a couple Fallschirmjäger squad there, but I feel like I killed an MG off. Their boys AT took a lot of damage. Their commandos, Piats took a lot of damage. They lost a Bren carrier. So overall, I'm still feeling pretty good here. And even though, technically speaking, we lost our engagement, losing our engagement after having the units on for that long works out. Because you had to take the sum of the parts of everything that's happened in the fight so far. And you can see that Hotchkiss came off with 19 kills. That's excellent. That's good returns. So even if we lost our engagement, we're still winning the attrition game. So I see Area trying to probe here and probing here on the side, and again I don't see a need to immediately help him because it looks like he's guard down and he's technically in a 2v1, but I'm more concerned about top stuff this cap on the side, so I'm sending the half track over because we have been ceding a lot of field control and we decided, okay, it's time. My goal right now is to try and cede field control back. Area's goal right now is to try and hold the line, and again we're doing it separately. We don't need to do it together, but still, if we see someone getting 2v1, we probably will move over to go help them. Right now I've got the Fallschirmjägers behind Area ready to go if he doesn't need that help. But right now I see on the minimap he's only facing off against 2 units max. So he should be able to handle that. And I'm trying to flip the captain situation. And again, I'm finding these the thing about this mobile aggressive kind of Fallschirmjäger play you can do once you get these half tracks on field is that you can find these isolated units and you can really overwhelm them, which is really easy with IHTs. And I think a lot of Fallschirmjäger players get into the trap of, oh no, we're gonna sit in cover and we're gonna use our ambush bonuses, which is nice, but it's the ambush bonus on Fallschirmjäger is a win more situation, right? It's very rare you'll have that situation come up where you're not already winning the game or winning the engagement. So it's better to force engagements than to wait for engagements, which I'm trying to do here. And I see here, oh, there's a lone carbine squad. I can engage that and probably take that really quick. And that I do. And another mistake though you'll see, and this is a killer mistake here that I'm pulling here, is I'm not at full pop. If I'm at full pop, I will be way more useful to the team. But I'm not at full pop, but that's my mistake. And that GMC is really hurting me here. But here's the thing though, a GMC and RS squad, I'm pretty sure that if I time the push correctly, I can finish this off. I need to try and bait a couple RS shots with the IHT. Once that's done, 2 Fallschirmjägers and IHTs will absolutely obliterate a Recoilless Rifle squad. And once that is done, I can probably send in the Hotchkiss to finish off the GMC. Because 1v1, a Hotchkiss should beat a GMC due to circle strafing. R is going to house, so I back this off. But you can still see I'm kind of seeing, okay, can I bait this out? Can I bait this out? Can I bait this out? Actually, that explains the reason I wasn't bringing a unit on. as you can see here, is because I was waiting for Tin Pop to get Tank Busters on, because I am a bit light in AT. I've only got one Fallschmieder squad and a non-upgun Hotchkiss. And again, you can see we're in two different flanks. Aria's holding the right flank, I'm holding the left flank, and we're ready to come to each other if it's needed. But we're still trying to find our own goals. Like, my goal still right now is to find a way to kill that GMC. The reason I'm switching flanks now, though, is because I believe that Wes is going to help push Area with Darson. Because, hey, there's the scouting run, so if they see it happen, which means they're probably massing for a push on this side. They're scouted it out, they're coming to this side, so I wanted to probably be ready to support Area if he does get pushed here. So I'm coming over, I'm saying, okay, Area might need help, I'm ready. I'm only going to wait here for about like 20-30 seconds, and then I'm going to move back, because if in 30 seconds they don't make the push, they're probably not trying to make the push. And the push does come here, but it's kind of half-hard, because the Austin is able to take care of that Burn Carrier pretty easy. I'm guessing the Firefly's not nearby. So again, this push doesn't really do much. I've still got the Fallschmieders in the house over there scouting it out, or near the house there scouting it out, and I decide, okay, Area's pretty safe here, I'm going to move back, I don't need to support him anymore, I can leave Area alone to do his thing, because I trust him again to do his thing smartly. And we see here this capping going on here, so I'm going to try and isolate a unit, and hopefully I can find this GMC and finish it off. If not, just finish off whatever unit's capping. Now, I see the R's on the right side, so I can actually be pretty aggressive in trying to find these cappers, so I don't expect the R's to be around. And you can see here, I even pushed the Hotchkiss into the center, because I know where the R's are, so I don't feel like I'm in danger against them. And now I see the GMC, and this GMC made a massive mistake. Takes a shark shot, and it's 1v1 against a Hotchkiss. This Hotchkiss can circle strafe it. And if I see the R's come, I've got two IHTs pulled with Fallschmieders FG42s. They can tank a shot from these RRs and absolutely murder these airborne, which is what's going to happen here. The RRs take a shot at Hotchkiss, they get phased. They take one shot at IHT, which is what they should have done, but it's too late now. They're dead. And what is that? We've got two of RR squad dead in about 5 to 8 seconds, which is the absolute insane amount of firepower that these IHTs can pull out. It's something people don't really use. Bit of mismatch here. I haven't been picking up medkits on my tank busters, but it's okay. And now I see a chance for a kill. There's a medic here, I can take it out. Area's making a push, and Area's made a push. I've made a push, and now I've beaten West out, so I can converge onto Darson. So Darson is now in a 2v1 right here, and he's in trouble. And it's kind of tough. This is the danger that allies have to deal with when they're playing against a PE player, especially a mobile PE company like this is. If they stayed together, they could have survived this push from Area easily. They could have pushed it off, right? The problem is, if they did that, I would have just been capping down the entire left side of these IHTs, which means they would have been probably bleeding pup at some point. So that's what being mobile helps you with, right? You can stay mobile, and you can be ready to help your teammate when you need to help them. You can make these kind of engagements happen and make it really tough. You'll see another mistake here. I knew this house is low HP, but I decided to go in anyways, trying to steal a shot off with the Shreks. And I get punished for it because I didn't pay attention to my surrounding. I didn't check the house. You should always check the HP of the house before you go into the house, right? If you don't, you're going to get punished. And you'll see a lot of allied players, or actually a lot of players in general, will put houses down to like 10% health just so they can snipe it out the minute you go into it. So you should always check that out. Just to say, at this point the game is pretty well wrapped up. There's not much help, not much else gonna happen in this game. I'm pretty sure we'll just go up and cap up to the spawn, and this is just it's not a very interesting game in and of itself. It's a slight stack. It's a pretty heavy stomp, and that's the reason I didn't upload this to the EAR, and this is why I didn't upload this to Bad Micro Tutorials, because I don't think it's worth uploading to Bad Micro Tutorials. But we still got to see kind of the mindset of the decision making I made while doing this, and you can see clearly some decisions are really poor, and some decisions turn out to be correct. And it's really important that as a player, you should always go in and watch yourself play and try and identify what these poor decisions were and what the good decisions were. For the poor decisions, mostly in the R+ in the early game, I got overly greedy, right? I was way too greedy, and I got punished for that. And I didn't properly send my Hotchkiss to be supported by my Panzer Shreks to help against an M10. So again, that really hurt in the early game. And then, but a good thing, I was able to, my assessment of what area could handle and could not handle was correct at all times. I trusted my teammate to be able to handle 1v1s, and that's what you should always try to do. You should always trust your teammate to handle these 1v1s when they're in that situation. So that's this replay, and that's what the main point I learned here. Some missed micro mostly, but conceptually everything was solid. And it was a stomp. What can you do? But hopefully this is how I helped myself learn how to play EIR, possibly improve at EIR to become a slightly better player, because I'm pretty garbage, honestly. And hopefully this is something you can pick up from this replay as well.